everybody, and welcome to Three Films and a Podcast. My name is Ben Lawhorn, and for the first time ever, not with me is Tyler and Matt. I'm here riding solo, which feels kind of strange. So yeah, it's just me. You're stuck with me, but we also have like a ton of really cool guests here, which I'm excited about. We have some first timers showing up, which is like really great for this specific draft that we're doing. We have some returning members as well, so I'm excited for the chaos. I'll just like intro everyone real quick. Ethan, Jade, Alden, Klein, Rebecca, Carson, and Travis. Thank you all for being here. Are you guys ready to party?
Let's do it.
Oh yes.
Ready.
Let it rip.
It's going to be chaotic, and I love it. We'll get to everyone's pitches or plugs or all that kind of stuff in the middle of the draft here. We're going to go through rounds 1 and 2. Then we'll get everyone's plugs, and we'll finish off the draft. Today's episode is a very special episode. It is a little pod, and it is actually like a very special episode because this is the last draft that's ever going to happen on Three Films and a Podcast. So I'm glad that you all could be here to witness this. I think this is going to be a ton of fun. I'm excited about this topic. We're talking about directorial debuts, but it is the last draft because the pod is going to be taking a break in the fall, and then we are coming back in 2024 with a new format, new name. Ooh. I might have a haircut. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
Whoa!
We'll see.
This feels like when Ray Fiennes gathered everyone in the menu.
Totally agree.
Are we gonna die?
I'm gonna whisper in Ethan's ear later, and yeah, we'll just watch it all unfold. So
Tortillas.
But yeah, so
I'm not
this
hungry.
this is our movie draft that we're doing tonight. It's my favorite thing that we do. I love a draft so much. I'm glad to be able to do it. Like I said, we're doing directorial debuts tonight. For those of you unfamiliar how it works, it's kind of a snake style selection format. We're going to go 1 through 8, 8 through 1 after we figure out the order. And that's it. We're not doing an auction tonight. We're just keeping it straightforward. Whatever order you get is what it's going to be.
Can I ask one question, Ben? Is the reason we don't do auctions anymore because the last time we did one, you ended up with Barbie for 75% of your budget? Or how did that go?
Listen, I'm so happy with that decision, and I'm going to be even happier like in less than a week. So I still think we should have held voting off until Oppenheimer and Barbie came out because I think I could have won, you know? Yeah, I did. What, was it like 80% of my budget or something?
It was
I don't know.
Unrivaled tension between you and I.
Really
Warner
was.
Brothers wants to talk to you, Ben.
Yeah, 100. Yeah. Well, I'm happy with it. So, Andrew, thank you for being here. I'm excited. We got some people watching. So, yeah, snake style draft 1 through 8, 8 through 1. We're going to be picking 4 movies each. It's pretty straightforward qualifications, just a directorial debut. I feel like there's going to be some questions and some challenges and things like that, which I'm looking forward to. I may have had a side chat with Ethan earlier about what's Christopher Nolan's debut, because I don't feel like a college movie should count, but you know, it is what it is. So
trying to do like outside of the pod dealings here. This is
on the outside.
Shady business
So
from our
we've
host.
already got some under the table aspects
Yeah,
going
this
on.
is
Well, I can say
Interesting.
I won't be
Okay.
taking it. If it's following, I'm not taking it. If it's memento, then you know,
Yeah,
that's-
the rules are
that's
sliding.
Yeah,
The rules are very valuable.
I mean, to be fair, I got in the chat and I was like, "Hey guys, do we want rules?" And I think everyone was like, "No, chaos. Let's like burn this place to the ground." It's like, let's do it. Let's burn it
Okay,
to the ground.
rules.
Okay, rules. Let's get rules, guys. Yeah. So before we get into the draft, though, I do want to ask everyone a question. Obviously, I don't want to get into the strategy of what's going on tonight with directorial debuts, but I thought it might be interesting to hear what some of your guys' favorite sophomore films are, the second films from some directors. I think there's some absolute classics that fall into that. And so, yeah, I just wanted to talk about that quickly before we go into the draft. Carson, I'm going to throw it to you first. Do you have some favorite second feature films?
Yes, I do. I think this one is actually my favorite of, I believe, the 3 he's put out, but it's Brawl on Cell Block 99.
Ooh.
It's very it's by S. Craig Zoller, and it's just very grindhouse, and it's like a gut punch, and Vince Vaughn is an absolute unit that
I was going to say that's bald Vince Vaughn, right? In that one?
yeah, and
Yeah.
I've never seen him like that. It was a stellar performance. It's a devastating movie.
Yeah. I've heard really good things about it. I've never seen it, though, but
Oh,
Yeah,
I
right
highly
about it.
encourage it. Put it on your watch list. It is fucked up.
Sounds like it might be
Big win.
an unsung gem that maybe we could talk about later. So that'd be fun.
Yeah,
Nice.
definitely. And then I do have a second one. It's gonna be Requiem for a Dream,
Yeah.
Darren
Ooh.
Aronofsky's sophomore film, which is also just incredibly fucked up. Maybe that's my category.
I'm excited to see what you're drafting tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure we all know that one, but yeah, those are my 2 sophomore picks.
Nice. It's great. Alden, how about you?
Oh man. Well, off the top of my head, Jordan Peele's Us is my favorite of his 3, which is those are
nice.
razor thin margins
Yeah.
between the 3. But I think that's my favorite horror film at this point. I was mortified and moved and
Nice.
just thematically electrified. Being a Star Wars guy, George Lucas, a student of Lucas, American Graffiti
Yeah.
has a special place in my heart. I think that the bounce from his debut to American Graffiti to Star Wars is fascinating. And then off the top of my head, Andrew Stanton, Wall-E, my favorite Pixar film. For a second feature, I think Wall-E is fascinating and beautiful, and the 30 minutes at the front are the best short film possibly ever.
Cool. Yeah, all those choices are wonderful. Rebecca, what have you got for us?
Yeah, I had to list my picks very carefully because I didn't want to pick anything from any other directors. I didn't want to give anyone ideas as to my plan. So the movies I've selected are Alien by Ridley Scott, Raising Arizona by the Coen brothers, and Jaws by Spielberg. I think they're all just very special to me. I particularly Raising Arizona. I just love it. For me, it was like an introduction to like, oh yeah, you can be deadpan. And I don't know,
Nice.
Alien and Jaws are just very scary to me as well. So I like those.
That's good.
I just saw Jaws on 35 millimeter and
Fun. Oh my
Wow.
God.
in a theater full of absolute stands, and it was so much fun. If you guys ever see Jaws playing in a theater, please go see it. It was an incredible experience. I totally get why my mom was like, "Oh my God," when I saw it, I was terrified. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Still,
Nice.
yeah, it's still creepy.
In the height of COVID, one of the things I was able to do movie-wise was go to a double feature of Jaws and Jaws 2 at the drive-in. That was like,
Oh,
one of
really?
the
Oh,
sick.
many
Cool.
experiences. It was
That's
awesome.
fantastic.
We
Yeah,
had
so
a
rad.
very not as cool as your guys's, but I had a Jaws themed pool party last year, and we
That's
watched
cool.
pools outside. we watched Jaws
Nice.
outside.
That's cool. You've seen those people that watch it like at that special screening. I think they do it like annually, and they sit in
Oh
tubes
yeah,
on the
Oh, that's
actual
fun.
ocean.
That's fun.
Nah.
that's
Nah,
great.
I'm out.
Could not
Pass.
do it. Travis.
Yeah. So I put a couple on here again. Trying to be strategic, trying to pick a little outside the box and not give away my hand here. But I like Adaptation as a follow-up for Spike Jonze. It's the best Nick Cage performances you'll ever see.
Yeah.
Question mark. And it's just good. It's just so good.
Yeah.
Adaptation's awesome. And then I put The Elephant Man because it's just it's an interesting, like Alden was saying about Lucas, it's a really interesting bounce around David Lynch's first. They're all very Lynch, right? Like there's no like romantic comedy mixed in there.
Right.
But it is his first film to Elephant Man it's a swing. It's a bit of a swing for him. So yeah, and you know he just continues to make just crazy amazing stuff. So I love David Lynch.
He's like unfortunately someone I haven't seen a lot of. I actually just watched my first Lynch movie, which was Dune. I don't know if that was like the best one to do, but that's my first
all uphill
Lynch
from there,
movie.
bud.
Yeah, right. I mean, nowhere to
It's
go
true.
but up. So yeah, what you can do.
I saw him in an interview one time. He was being interviewed. I think it was about like something like 15 years ago at some director's thing. And he's sitting in the chair and some stuffy British guy's interviewing him. And he's like, you know, Eraserhead is actually my most spiritual film. And the guy's like, oh, would you like to elaborate on that? And he's like, no. And that's the end.
It's the greatest. It's the greatest
What a
thing.
boss.
So
Yeah,
good.
he's the man.
Nope,
King.
that's it. Just leave it at that. Ethan, how about you?
Well, I went with Midsommar as one for a sophomore. I still hold firm and true that Midsommar is one of the greatest horror movies of the 21st century. I think it is incredible, like an incredible horror juxtaposition to even make that movie exist is like phenomenal. And then Boogie Nights, because if you listen to me on any single podcast, mine or another, I will always choose Boogie Nights if it is ever a selection for anything. PTA makes Hard 8, and then the next year he makes Boogie Nights, loosely based on Hard 8. So, I mean, it's great. Like kind of like Carson was saying, I got the chance to see Boogie Nights on 70mm a couple of months ago, and it was like one of the most electric movie-going experiences of my life. Like literally almost changed me as a person. It was phenomenal. And it was like, my 8th time seeing the movie. So it wasn't even like fresh for me. It was just so incredible. But yeah, 2 ridiculous sophomore films.
That's cool. That's great. I love this comment. Now I want David Lynch to go full Gary Marshall with the holiday themed rom-coms. What does Lynch's St. Patrick's Day look like? I would love to see that. So
Lynch's St. Patrick's Day would be shot from the POV of a leprechaun.
It's like 2 feet up.
All just tilted upward.
All bushes and,
oh, that'd be awesome. Klein.
I mean, I've got a couple listed, but I'll do Fincher's 7. It's just like it's, I think, one of the most thrilling movie experiences I've ever had. And Fincher's my guy. I would say Social Network's the reason that I like love movies. And so to go back and to dive into that, like, just all you need to know is Brad Pitt yelling, and he's like, Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman are on another level in that movie, and like that's the era I think of Morgan Freeman I love the most, and it's so good. It's so good. It's one of those things that you can just watch over and over again and pick up little things and pick up little nuances, and it was Gwyneth Paltrow's head the whole time. So it's it's a good movie.
Spoiler alert for 7.
Oh my god.
30 years later.
It's older than I might be, so you know what?
I've only ever asked the question, "What's in the box?" I've never strived to find out what's in the box.
No one ever asks how's in the box.
Oh, I've seen 7 then. Okay, I've seen it.
Oh, okay. I will say one of your clients that you have on your list is like, wait, hold on, like I didn't realize that was the second movie, so I'm gonna have to make some adjustments later. But
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay, now we know. Now we know what's on the chopping block.
Klein came in at the end, and I really appreciate him filling in. We did kind of talk about in the chat that anything that's like not rated, that was kind of a small release, probably doesn't count. But this is it's chaos rules, you know.
We can
If that's the
it's all
case,
about the vote.
his real second movie's also really good. So
Yeah, I think Ethan would agree with you on that. Yeah,
fair.
Jade.
So my 2 that I put in our little doc are couldn't be more different from each other. One that I picked was Moonlight by Barry Jenkins. That's, according to IMDb, pretty much I'm just going off of what IMDb says. So if you guys want to correct me on anything that happens tonight, please go ahead. I love that movie so much. It's, I think it's a very just calmly paced movie, but it hits so hard and it's so deep. And then my second pick, I picked Saw by James Wan.
Movie rips.
I think it's one of the most shocking horror movies, especially for being early 2000s when everything was kind of teen slashers and coming off of the 90s. And then he comes in with this, what people call torture porn, but I think there's actually a lot more to it than that. But that's where I'll just leave that.
Nice. I love it.
Jade, are you excited for Saw 10?
I'll be honest with you.
I'm fucking hyped for Saw 10. Let's be honest. I cannot wait.
I didn't even see Spiral, so I'm excited.
So hopefully you'll be able to keep up. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm just excited in the sense that we're getting just so many different horror movies again.
Nice.
So I'm excited. I don't care. The Nun was trash, but I'm excited for the Nun 2. So I mean, you never know, right?
Oh yeah.
You never know.
I love it. I will say, along the lines of Whiplash, we might be talking about Moonlight later in the draft as well, because it's kind of a gray area. We'll see. Mine, I just went with one. I just went with Coogler with Creed. I love Fruitvale Station. He's another one that, he's got like a pretty perfect track record in my mind. But to take on Creed like the Rocky franchise and stuff as your follow-up is like kind of crazy. I mean, we talked about that on this pod before with like Bradley Cooper and Star is Born. It's like, hey, I'm going to do like a third remake of something for my first movie. And this like the idea of taking on Rocky and then like taking on the MCU after that. I think he's done a really good job. So, and what a great performance from Michael B. Jordan. I love that movie.
He's amazing.
That
It's my favorite
sequence of
sports
him
movie.
running through the streets with the dirt bikes
Yeah.
going by, I'm like,
So
just hook
hype.
my heart up to a car battery. Like that
Right?
just like
Yeah.
gives me energy. I live for that.
Incredible. And just like the way that Ludwig teases the theme the whole
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hit until the I'm not a mistake. And then he stands up. Ah,
It's so good. So
That's where I
good.
cry.
Creed pod? Are
Every
we
time.
doing a Creed pod right now? Is that what we're
Let's
switching?
do
to?
it. We're
We're
switching.
gonna pivot. Creed pod.
Okay, favorite Creed moments. I'm drafting when he gets punched and the sweat off his back.
the anime sweat.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Sorry,
Oh.
how did no one say Pulp Fiction here?
It's like I assumed everyone else would, so I didn't even like,
I think it's
to
that.
add it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
We're
it's like the
trying to
lowest
keep our
hanging fruit.
hands
Yeah.
close to our
Yeah.
vest.
I'm like, yeah, someone else will say it. I don't need to take that one. So
For me.
yeah.
Submarine.
Yeah,
I've
good call.
seen once. I like.
It's why I didn't say Midsommar. I just assumed it was a given.
Yeah.
Whoa. Shade.
No,
Jeez. Holy cow.
No, like I agree.
Whoa.
I agree with you, Ethan.
Midsommar shade coming from the other pod into this
Watch
one.
out.
That's brutal.
No,
I love
I
how
just
Cross pod slander.
I'm being positive over here. You're getting extra defensive just right out the gate. We haven't even begun
Yeah,
to battle, Ethan.
Bet because everybody's after me all the goddamn time. I have to be defensive.
Coming
I
after
love
you.
how Ethan wouldn't let Ben have Midsommar even in a
No.
banter, even
No.
in a pre-show
Wouldn't even do
banter.
it there.
Wouldn't let her- I just realized that. I still couldn't pick it.
Matt, this is what happens when you're not here. It becomes a Creed pod, so that's what we are now.
What is this,
Just FYI. Also, yeah, Larry Crown, great second film. That is a movie that exists for sure.
Definitely a movie.
That
Yes.
is technically a movie. All right, cool. Let's figure out the order here. Let's get into this draft.
I hate how excited Ethan is. I hate it
It's
so
time
much.
for the
He's
chaos.
just-
I hate you, Klein. So let's go.
Okay,
I'm not excited. I'm just petrified. It's a difference.
it's kind of the same.
His energy's a little, you know.
All right, here we go.
Oh fuck.
Oh,
Okay,
oh.
Midsommar for climax. Thank you, Rebecca. We'll make that trade later. All right,
Ticking has begun.
Rebecca's going first.
Oh no.
Oh, let's go. Keep going. Go,
Okay.
go, go, go.
Rigged. Rigged.
Yeah,
Rigged.
that's
Stop the steal. Stop the steal.
Stop the steal.
forever
Hashtag
unclean.
not my podcast.
Not my draft order.
Oh man.
Let's go.
Are you kidding me?
Now it's your draft
Still
order.
rigged.
Now you're good, Ethan.
Hashtag my draft order. Let's go.
Okay, Klein.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Come on.
I'm having. This is what I get for the last time on Nicor. This is my penance.
I love the little confetti every time. Like, oh, good job, guys. You did it.
I'm not feeling so good about this now.
This is
Oh,
No.
you might be on the turn though, so you might get like 2 in a row, which is
Yeah, that's
not a
true.
horrible spot, but
I've never felt good about this, so.
Stop.
And I've
Stop.
known about
On
this
the
for the last
board.
half hour.
Hey.
okay. And here we go. The battle to the bottom.
great. This is awesome.
It heard you, Travis.
Travis, thank you for being here. I really
Yeah,
do
no problem.
appreciate it.
Spin it. Spin it for Travis.
Let's spin it.
Why are
Give
we
everyone.
spinning? It's just me on there.
We like
Give
to
it
see
to
Don't you want to see your
everyone.
name spin?
You gotta have confetti.
Oh.
We Travis with the
It's
confetti.
Travis.
Boom.
Yay, he did it. He did it.
Sensational.
All right.
Oh boy.
We did it.
Boy,
Much-
boy,
There's
boy.
too much confetti at the last one, I have to say. It's a little.
Oh, okay. Rebecca.
Oh, Ben, you're ahead of me. This is bad.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? There was one specific pick I was saving for my very first, and I am willing to throw it away for this. And I am going to go with 2018's Hereditary by Ari
Ooh.
Aster.
Wow.
There it
Wow.
is.
I love it.
Well done. Off the
Number
board.
one off the board. Interesting.
Just
but
like
we'll
that.
see what happens next.
My heart's
good
beating
one.
so fast, you guys.
Rebecca, I'm really happy for you. This is
Thank you.
amazing.
It
This
is
is
good.
Thank you so
wonderful.
much.
It's a good pick.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll make it big, and then you and I can just sit here for 15 minutes while all the other
And
good
stress
movies
stress about the rest of our picks.
Everything just gets picked off here.
Yep.
So, Hereditary, wonderful choice. Okay, I mean, I made it the background picture because it felt like the obvious pick. So I'm going with Reservoir Dogs. That's what I'm going to take for my directorial debut.
Okay.
I don't know. It's like, I don't know what there is to say about it that people haven't said about Reservoir Dogs. Cool writing. I don't know. Like,
Cool writing.
Yeah, cool writing.
Like,
Cool.
Everyone
Yeah.
has colors for names.
yeah.
Steve
So
Buscemi.
that's exactly.
Guys
That's
sing
exactly what I
Ear
should have
at one
said.
point. Yeah.
Stuck in the middle with you. Great,
Steve
great
Buscemi.
moment.
Yeah.
Great,
all right.
great diner scene too. Real prevalent with today's tip culture. I appreciate
I
that.
was going
Yeah.
to say really too relevant with
Yes.
today's
Yeah.
tipping
Yes.
conversation.
Top tier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
Ethan.
My
Third.
my draft pick, wonderful. This is excellent. Okay, so I get.
This man's gonna explode.
I
That's what I was saying.
can barely hold it in. So I get my number one pick that I wanted. I was really nervous Ben was going to take this because I know how much he loves this movie. I'm going with 1957's 12 Angry Men by Sidney
Ooh,
Lumet.
wow,
Absolutely astounding film that just every single time I see it rings more true and hits harder and is just more of a cinematic feat somehow. And I just like movies like this really, especially under the guise of a draft, make me wonder like what good am I? Like if a guy's making a movie and this is his first time making a movie and it's fucking 12 Angry Men, I just don't, it's insanity to me. So 12 Angry Men, see you guys in 15 minutes. It's been a blast.
You've definitely locked in all those Lumet heads. They're coming. You're getting all those votes.
Have you guys
Big portion of film Twitter, those Lumet heads
Yeah.
out there.
All those
I
Sydney
just recently
freaks.
saw someone take that clip of that bar. You know that's
Oh
that
yeah,
clip-
yeah,
the
yes,
bar
I
from
see that.
The
Yeah.
Game of Thrones finale or some moment from Game of Thrones, and they're like
Yeah.
watching someone get stabbed, and they all go "What?" And so they,
Yeah.
and they pasted in the knife moment from 12 Angry Men where he
Bro,
just
that
dropped
was
his
That's
me
so
knife.
though.
good.
That's I feel so
That's
seen.
so
That was
good.
So
amazing.
good.
I love that so much.
Ugh.
I remember I texted Ben the first time I watched it, and I literally texted him that, and I was like, "The knife! He had another one!" And I was just like, "That's the greatest thing ever!"
It's amazing.
Oh, that's a solid pick. I did not think he would go in the first round, but I think it's a great pick. So.
Wow.
Klein.
I am so conflicted. I could play with my head, I can play with my heart, but I said coming into this I was going to play with my heart, and I'm going on momentum pick here. The Gerwig Hive is thriving. Lady Bird as my number
Respect.
one first round
Lady
pick. I think
Bird.
arguably, like, you guys will get to know me. You all don't know me very well. I love me some coming of age bullshit. Okay, so
Yeah.
Lady Bird might be the
Hell yeah.
single
Whoa,
greatest
whoa.
coming of age movie of all time. I
So,
love it.
can-
I love it very dearly. It's amazing, and I can't wait for more Gerwig in my life.
You know
so.
what, Klein? That was the one I was going to pick first, and so I'm glad it went to a good home.
Wow, that
I
was
think-
kind. What's happening? I thought you were ready to throw fisticuffs.
I'm having like a post adrenaline, like calm down, you know.
I will say,
So
I
real.
do think it's worth noting that there is a little asterisk with that because Gerwig
Yeah.
did make Nights and Weekends like 10 years before Lady Bird, but of course it's not really counted in like the kind of the canon of Gerwig movies because she did co-direct it with somebody else, but you know, respect.
Mhm.
Chaos.
Yes.
Chaos rules.
Chaos.
I wasn't
reigns
gonna
once again.
challenge that. I just think for movie knowledge for people, it's like, oh, Greta made something else. Cool.
Yeah. Solo debut.
The Lumet heads weren't enough for you, Ethan.
Yeah.
Never.
You got to calm the Gerwig Hive. Like, listen, guys, it's okay.
Whoa, let's settle
We
down.
get it. You're knowledgeable.
Settle down.
Alden, what are you taking with your first pick?
I honestly thought there was a really high chance this could be the first overall, and I'm very happy it wasn't. I mentioned this man already. It'll be Jordan Peele. I choose
Yeah.
Get Out
Lovely.
Nice.
for my number one pick. I remember, I mean, what hasn't been said about it, I just remembered Logan and Get Out were in theaters at the same time. And
Oh,
me
that's
being a big
yeah.
nerd, I was like, oh, let's do Logan. We all went and saw Logan, loved it, cried. Then the next week we were like, we should give that other one a chance. Blown away. I just
Mhm.
the theater was electric. Amazing movie, still holds up. Fantastic.
Visionary, even. That was
Yeah.
gonna be my first pick. I'm glad you took it though.
That's a good one.
It's just stellar. Yeah.
I think
Beautiful
I felt
script.
similarly about that. Kind of like Heath with Joker. I was like, oh, 10 Things I Hate About You guys are gonna do this, like the Knight's Tale guy. But I felt like that was like the Key and Peele guys doing a horror movie. Like
That's the
that
thing.
seems
People with
kinda
comedy
weird.
backgrounds are the
Mhm.
best at horror.
Yeah,
and this is the hill I die on.
And the
It was so
trailers
good.
for Get Out, I didn't think lived up to that movie in retrospect.
Oh.
The trailers for Get Out, I was like, oh, so what is everybody in this town like a weirdo? Is this like a everyone's brainwashed, which was kind of not, it was brain stuff. But it was, yeah, I mean, it was rarely do you see something that original and poignant.
Mm-hmm.
And the feeling that I had, like I won't spoil anything, but like when those lights show up, I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Like there's no way. But yeah, it was just it tied together so perfectly. So that's an awesome pick for sure. Jade.
So
What do you got?
I don't have a strategy.
Love it.
Again,
That's a
like
strategy.
the same thing as the
Smart.
A24 draft. I'm going for fun, and I'm just gonna pick what movies I like. So
Love-
I'm going. My first pick. I'm gonna go. It's the first one I even put down in my notes. I'm going with Nightcrawler by
Oh, hell
Dan
yeah.
Gilroy.
Ooh.
Banger
I
pick.
love
Yeah.
that movie, and I feel like it doesn't get enough credit. It's been on Netflix for just years now, just kind of sitting there, and no one talks about it enough. And it's Jake Gyllenhaal, so that's my points.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Such a good movie.
When is
Dan
Dan
Gilroy,
Gilroy making
man.
another movie? Let's get that guy making a movie.
Gotta be one of
Him
my
and Jake
favorite Nepo
Gyllenhaal.
babies.
Let's do it.
One of the best Nepo babies.
One of the best Nepo
Cool.
babies out there, my guy.
Matt, thank you so much for reminding me. We do have a segment here on the pod. Whenever we talk about a Gyllenhaal, it's time for our Gyllenhaal of Fame. So Jade, I need to know, in your opinion, would Nightcrawler be a better or more interesting movie if Maggie Gyllenhaal was the star?
Oh, I love this
Wait,
bit.
like replacing Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yep,
in it?
swap him out.
Unhinged.
Yep, sibling swap
No.
here.
Sorry, I'm not a big fan of Maggie Gyllenhaal.
That's so
So-
fair.
Tell him, Jade.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm Jake.
I mean, there's nothing to apologize
Sorry.
for.
Well,
It's
that's
all
the thing
good.
too. Like, I'm afraid of Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm not
Yeah.
afraid of Maggie
exactly.
Gyllenhaal.
Like
Fair.
Yeah.
But you
if
could
there's
be.
not, if Jake
I
Gyllenhaal's
could
in a
be.
movie where he doesn't scream and break glass, it wasn't a Gyllenhaal movie.
Yeah, 100%. I think that there are better.
Oh, sorry, Matt.
Wrong answer.
I don't think she lost the draft. She may have lost Matt's vote, but I don't think she lost
That's
the
all right.
draft.
You know what? I'll take it. I'll own
No,
that. I'll own
Nike-
that.
Nightcrawler's a great pick.
I think that you get way better results the other way. Maggie parts that you put Jake in.
Yeah.
What are we
Like,
talking about? The
Jake is
Lost Daughter
Rachel
here?
in The
You want to
Dark
put
Knight?
Jake in the Lost Daughter?
My
Rachel in the Dark Knight?
My first
Yeah,
thought was
wow,
Rachel.
Rachel,
Oh my
yeah.
god.
That's what I
Rachel-
thought too.
I think a love triangle where two of the people are Gyllenhaal and Bale.
Yeah, and then
He's-
Aaron Eckhart, who's like not,
Yes,
he's
please.
he's
He's
not
great
great
in that
by
movie,
any
yeah.
means. Yeah, that's yeah, I love it. Thank you for participating. Anytime a Gyllenhaal comes up, that's something we've got to do.
I
so
love it. I love it.
We'll see if anything else happens for the rest of the draft here. But Carson, you finally made it. What's your first pick?
Yes, thank you. Nightcrawler was on my short list as well.
Oh,
I
no.
love that movie. No, it's fine.
Sorry.
We're all friends
It's-
today. I like it.
Yeah,
My pick, I'm gonna go with The Virgin Suicides, Sofia
Ooh.
Coppola's
Wow,
first
nice.
feature.
yeah.
That was when I first watched it, it was a spiritual experience. It's like if Lady Bird were mentally ill.
Yeah.
And-
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
More so, more.
yeah,
More.
right.
Great.
Crank it up.
Less medicated.
Yeah, right.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
Yeah, love that.
My girlfriend and I recently took a trip to Japan, and we went into Uniqlo, and they happened to have a run, and it was all shirts of Sofia Coppola movies. And we
Oh,
Nice.
wow.
snatched up all of them. I was like, I've never
Wow.
seen this before. This is amazing. So
Can you ship me the
Um,
Marie Antoinette one, please?
yes, yeah. This is a Coppola friendly house for sure. Travis, you got two
Finally.
picks in a row here.
Yes, I get the wraparound pick, so I'm gonna make it interesting.
I like it.
I'm gonna go with something that makes sense, and then maybe something that doesn't. So
Okay.
let's start out with 1941 Orson Welles Citizen
Ooh.
Kane. I mean, come on, guys. I mean,
The
It should be
debut.
illegal. It should be
Great.
illegal to do this on your first film.
It really should.
also it brings up an entirely different category of like people's first films that are their best, which is probably a much shorter list. You know, like there's a lot of good debuts, like we're talking about, but who makes Citizen Kane? And then like Orson Welles made a lot of interesting movies, but he never made Citizen Kane again. You know, so I just think it's interesting.
That's a great selection.
Hot take: Citizen Kane is a good movie. Yeah.
Is that a hot take?
Watch out.
Bold.
Watch out.
The Citizen
The
Kane of movies.
audacity. Oh my
It's the
god.
Citizen Kane.
Kane.
Really is the Citizen Kane of Citizen Kanes. Yes.
It really. I believe he was 27 when they were shooting that.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
And-
Wow.
I turned 27 back in December, and I had a moment to myself where I thought,
I didn't do it.
My life.
Yeah.
You didn't do it all, then you didn't make Citizen Kane.
no,
Yeah.
did not.
That's all right. I don't think any of us have, but that's great pick. That probably is like the debut of all debuts. So
It's
awesome
gotta be, right?
selection.
Yeah. Okay. And now for something completely different. Because y'all said you were going to be Agents of Chaos, and I'm watching these picks like safe. My second pick is a little movie from 1981, and it's by a very famous director who's made more money than anyone? In the theaters. Piranha 2: The Spawning. James.
Yeah.
I was
Cameron.
looking at that.
Old Jim.
Interesting.
Oh.
Old
Flying
Jim.
fish eat people in that movie, and James Cameron made it. So
Yep. Yes, he did.
I like that.
We have made history as the first broadcast in which Citizen Kane
yeah,
and Piranha 2 have been mentioned in the same breath.
back to back, baby.
This is his
Love it.
legacy.
You weren't joking about chaos. I like that.
Anytime we can talk about the Canadian King, Cameron, I'm here for it.
Canadian.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. He probably has brought some of the most money into the box office. Not with Piranha 2, but yeah.
No.
Yeah, wonderful.
I think
was
he's
a
pretty much
better
disowned it at this point. By the way, I think he like hates it. But
yeah, isn't like
okay.
did he like get booted or something like that, or did he leave at some point
Uh,
during production? Who knows?
I think it got cut to ribbons. He didn't get to do what he wanted with it. It's not one of those,
gotcha.
you know.
Yeah.
He should
Pro-
reclaim it for himself and put one of the piranhas on Pandora
An Avatar.
Oh hell yeah!
in the ocean.
I like it.
Oh, those poor water people.
Carson, we're back around.
All right. I am gonna go with Robert Eggers' The Witch.
Oh dang! I was gonna
Extremely
take that.
Damn.
Incredible.
I have a really fun story about that I love to tell.
Yeah.
Robert Eggers wrote what is that movie that he just did?
The
Oh my
Northman?
God.
The
Yes.
Northman.
Okay, yes. He wrote The Northman and knew that it needed to be an epic tale, and he knew that it needed to be a grand, huge budget movie.
Mm.
And in order to make that movie, he had to prove himself to Hollywood first.
Mm.
And so he wrote The Witch, and they gave him $4 million to make it. And then he wrote The Lighthouse, and they gave him $9 million to make it. And then he said, okay, it's time to make The Northman. And they gave him $200 million, and he made the movie of his dreams. And that to me is like, that's next level visionary shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I am
It is.
endlessly impressed with that guy. I can't wait to see Nostradamus. Or what is it?
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu.
Thank you. Thank you. I can't wait for just everything that guy does. I love The Witch. It is weird and scary every time.
That's amazing. Betting on yourself, man. That's
Yeah.
So
wild.
crazy. The Northman rips too. Like it's a very good movie, and it's just
Yes.
a tragedy. It
Fighting
was
the
released when it
volcano.
all
was.
three are great too. And that's the thing. That's what I love about that story is that it's not like he was like one for them, one for me. It's
Yeah.
not like he was like, I'll take, not that there's anything wrong with a studio movie, but like they were all three auteur, and to just and then command 200 million is like wild.
The original Bills. Matt, this is a family channel. This is, come on. I don't know where to go.
The
from there.
original? I don't know. That opened up a lot of conversation there.
Oh god, that's funny.
I say
Like, who's
you
the
to that
second one?
comment.
Like, I don't even know. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Jenny
lost
from
track.
Ben's completely
Jenny.
derailed right now.
Like, what the
That's a
fuck?
donkey.
I did not expect that from Matt. Matt's throwing me off here. Okay, I'm a Hail Mary here. Jade, please pick a movie.
Okay.
Making another
so,
Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
I wish, but I'm gonna go comedy. I'm gonna pick Anchorman by Adam McKay.
Wow.
Oh,
Nice.
Jade,
Good
that was
choice.
that was my
That
pick.
hurts.
Nice.
That's okay. That's a fantastic.
I was just watching, it's kind of random. I was just watching Kicking and Screaming the other night with my parents and realized how old that movie is. It's like 20 years old. And same thing with Anchorman. It came out in 2004 and I was like, wow, I was 6 years old when that movie came out. And I hope we get back to comedy like that one day, you know.
That was
I
what
feel
I was
like we're
surprised to see
lacking.
on Liz. I didn't realize that was his debut.
I had no idea
crazy.
either. I was
Really good
looking
pick.
and I was like, you know, I need to diversify my potential picks. So I was like, let's think of like some old comedies. And Adam McKay, I would have never guessed that was the debut, but here we are.
I just want to say that a movie that I saw in theaters being referred to as an old comedy just really fucking got me right in the gut. No,
Yeah, I
okay.
feel like
Sorry,
who
guys.
amongst us didn't walk through the halls of their high school quoting Anchorman, you know?
Yep.
I
It
love it.
was a little bit younger.
I was walking through my elementary school probably before
Yeah.
my little Christian school. So
Just Whale's vagina, just yelling it down the hall. That's actually a movie that Matt and my cousin had to talk me into taking them to. They couldn't drive at the time, and I told them if they paid for my ticket, I would go because I did not want to see that. And that was just one of the funniest experiences I had in a theater. Like it's such a good movie.
I
That's
love that. Yeah,
that's a
it
great
is.
pick.
Peak Will
Good
Ferrell.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's great.
What a run.
I mean the whole cast too, Carell and Rudd, and
Yeah.
just all of them. They're all doing
Yeah.
great.
And just to this
Lights out.
day, we're still quoting it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Still good. Still
By
good.
Odin's Raven.
Lanolin?
Alden.
I'm in a fortunate position where a lot of the stuff that I considered is still here. I feel like there are two direct bullets with Ethan's name on them
Please don't.
That-
I don't like
Please
this.
do.
that
game.
I could, but I did it last time. Instead, I'm going to pick something on my mind from a guy who I think I really like him. He's kind of unfairly maligned, I think. And that is Mr. J.J. Abrams
Wow,
with
good
Mission
pick.
Impossible 3
Fire.
Dude.
Your pick.
Mission Impossible
job.
3 is right there with Fallout for my favorite in the franchise. I think it's hilarious that Tom Cruise obviously was maybe not that happy with the results of 2, like many people were not, and sat there for a few years and was watching Alias one day, and he thought, this is the guy. This is the guy right here. This is my
what I
terrible
need.
Tom Cruise impression. This is what I need. Popcorn. J.J. Abrams.
I love
And
my movies.
and he had JJ had never directed a film. He'd been running Felicity and Alias, written a couple scripts, and then he comes in and delivers this incredible film with an incredible Philip Seymour Hoffman performance, and really establishes what the franchise would be. People call it a soft reboot, and I think whether people like his Trek and Star Wars work or like some of it and some mixed bag, whatever, I think with Super 8 as well, what J.J. Abrams' real skill set is looking at the painting, stepping back like Cameron and Ferris Bueller, looking at the painting and figuring out why it works. Like Mission Impossible is in trouble. This is why it works. This is what we do. Star Trek's falling out of relevancy and hasn't had a movie in 7 years. This is what we do. Star Wars has been gone for a decade. This is what we do. The guy has a sixth sense for it. People hate him because Palpatine. I don't know.
Lens flares. Yeah.
So,
Somehow.
but the guy, he's good. I think he's got a
Yeah.
future.
I'll defend Lost until my dying day. I think it was a phenomenal show.
Yeah, I think and what he's done too, like by producing things like Lovecraft Country and really giving like a platform and stuff. I think he's a swell dude. Philip Seymour Hoffman though, the GOAT.
Love it.
Best
GOAT.
villain in the Mission Impossible franchise, bar none.
So good. I love that you love Fallout in 3. I knew I liked you, Alden. I knew it.
Well, I certainly didn't put 2 as like Letterbox did all the way at like
Yeah,
their
the-
number
I
30
guarantee,
spot.
I guarantee you, whoever put that out was just like, how can we cause the most amount of chaos
inflammatory.
with the Mission Impossible
We
race?
just like
And
climbing on
send
rocks.
tweets.
Yeah. It is a great opening, though. That's for sure.
It's all to say
So,
that I
throwing the
don't play.
sunglasses into the camera is still one of
Yeah.
the most elite Tom Cruise moments ever.
That's got the best
Into
Mission
Limp
Impossible
Bizkit?
score in the series, hands
yeah,
down.
dude.
Yeah, yeah, so good.
So fire.
Klein, it's your turn.
I'm honestly shocked that so many things are here, and I'm excited
boy.
and nervous and scared, and I want to do all the things. But I had a good friend tell me once, hope is a good thing, maybe the best things, and no good thing ever
Wow.
dies. That friend was Morgan Freeman in Shawshank Redemption. I am picking Shawshank Redemption, baby.
Good friend Morgan.
That was
Friend of the
Frank
pod.
Daramont's
Front of the pod.
directorial
That was his
debut.
debut.
That was his
Yes.
debut.
Oh my
Short
God.
films
That's
only
nuts.
before that.
Nice job.
Wow, that's a wonderful
My
selection.
heart is beating like a million miles a
I
second.
thought that was gonna go under the radar until my next, 4-hour break.
It's
Until I
IMDb.
It came back,
I think
yeah.
like for a long time was their best reviewed movie of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man,
That's
Would you be
that's
mad if
another
I
one.
hadn't seen Shawshank?
would
You
I be
haven't
mad?
seen
I've
Shawshank?
only what if I told you, Ethan? I've only recently seen Shawshank, so
Oh,
better.
okay, fair.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Wait, have you seen it, Ethan?
No, I have not seen Shawshank.
Okay, cool. Well,
Watch it.
Sorry.
Klein, I can tell you have Tyler's vote from our pod because I think that's one of his favorite movies
it's
ever.
so good. It's one of those movies that like I had hyped up so much for me, and I finally sat down and watched it and finished it and went, damn, everyone was right. That that was amazing.
That's a feat when a movie can do that. When you're just like, yeah, when it's built up. But cool, Shawshank, good friend Morgan. Like and subscribe, please, Morgan.
That was fantastic.
Ethan,
Okay. Here's where I want to throw my first contestant.
I
to the
don't like
group, if That's
this.
okay.
Ben.
Ben, you kind of knew
Vetoed.
this one was coming. Wow, you won't even hear me out, Rebecca. You're just gonna shoot me down.
You
To
want it
be-
bloodthirsty?
Is this a democracy or no?
Yeah, what are we doing here?
I don't know.
Uh,
To be clear,
There's an
Okay.
even number of us.
So if
That's-
oh, that's true. That's
well, I
tough.
guess you can't vote though, Ethan. So yeah, we got.
Oh,
seven
fair.
votes,
Okay.
so.
So the movie that I would like to put up for conjecture here is Damien Chazelle's Whiplash. This is based on a short that he made the year prior and was able to get it funded and then created the film. He is credited with directing a movie called Guy and Madeline on a Park Bench. Now, this was in 2009, 5 years before Whiplash. It is not rated. It is just over 80 minutes long. It did receive an initial release at the Tribeca Film Festival, but with Ben's school of thought, it is an independent film, shot in black and white, didn't get a national release, has no box office dollars. Where do we stand on this? I'm not trying to go one way or the other. Of course, I want this pick, but I am genuinely curious. This is the one movie where it's just like, I don't know. It's kind of up to whatever you think.
I think we should give it to you.
I approve.
think.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
would
I'm fine with
normally
it.
approve,
I
but
love
I'm
the
looking to make you mad.
I think here's the thing: if we did Lady Bird, and I'm the one with Lady Bird, if we did Lady Bird,
That's
I
fair.
think we should do Whiplash.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Also, I just want to point out that Whiplash and Nightcrawler came out in the same year. What an
That's
What
incredible
a
unreal.
year. Yeah.
What a
2014 is a banger
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Ben, do I have your podcast host blessing to pick up Whiplash here?
Yeah, tear it up. It was on my list, so go for
sick.
it.
Let's go.
Collusion. Again, collusion. What's
Collusion.
I will do a very, very brief self plug on my Substack that I released this week. Go check it out. You can just Google my name and Substack, I think, and subscribe. But I used a moment from Whiplash to kind of support the WGA and the SAG-AFTRA strikes and the importance of writing and actors. Has an absolutely incredible moment from J.K. Simmons talking about how he had his Charlie Parker once and he tried. He fucking tried. And that's what life is about. It's about trying to get the best out of every single person. I mean, this is up there in the echelons of Tar, right? And it's Whiplash, and it's these movies where how far will people go to be great? What does that line look like? How gray is that area? What is acceptable in terms of how you achieve what you need in life? I'm very happy to get this, and I just you guys are the best.
You
Just
sound like
for
you're
right
accepting
now,
an
and
Oscar
now it's
right
over.
now.
This is really heartfelt.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
It's like,
love
well,
Whiplash.
Thank you for
It's
this
just
pick.
pure violence from here on in.
Yeah, we're done with the niceties. Straight savagery.
Because I will say, I am curious what the difference is between Guy and Madeline on the park bench and following.
Fair.
Interesting.
Fair. Let's see when it gets to you.
mean-
Oh, it is your turn.
Oh, it is to me. Because I think Memento is a pretty good debut if we're counting it. But
It's your pod, Ben. Honestly,
it
I
is
would
my
be
pod.
curious.
You're the pod
what would
god.
the budget of something like the first Giselle movie look like? Right? Like that's got to
It
be
was
way more. It's got to be 4 times at least what Nolan
So-
spent on following.
no, very similar.
No?
So the budget
Okay.
of Chazelle's was 60,000, and the budget
Okay,
of
very
following, I
close.
believe, is 40,000.
Yeah.
So I mean, like under 100K. I mean, that's
Was it
pretty
widely
astounding.
released? Like, yeah.
Ben, I already
I would give
exhausted
you
these people.
Memento if
They-
you wanted Memento
did.
now.
They
You
took my
did.
side. Now they're like, I
Uh,
don't know.
I mean,
I am deliberating, but my dog is barking. But I'm deliberating.
Okay, well, earlier I was looking at sophomore films. I was looking at lists of sophomore films because we were going to talk about them. And I do just want to point out that Memento was on 2 different lists. One of the lists was on IndieWire, so take that with what you will. I do want to give it to you, Ben.
I appreciate
But-
that.
Do we want to use IndieWire as a credible source?
Well, I'll let it rest for a bit because I think I'm gonna go with a different pick right now. I just wanted to know if Memento's an option down the road.
good to know.
So,
Snag
we
up
can-
Memento.
we can revisit
Write-
that.
write down a note.
But along the lines of Klein, a wise man once danced to Queen in a hallway at the end of a movie, and so I'm going to go with After Sun for my
Wow.
second
Yes.
pick.
Yes.
That's cold.
This is what I almost wanted to do to Ethan before I went with JJ.
That's
Well, I'm on the A24 pod, Ethan. I don't know if I told you about that or not. So yeah, this is,
Well, see, here's the thing. I feel like this is me giving you this pick because I'm the one that told you how good this movie was, and you were like, "Really? Is it though?" And then I changed your life. So
it was a surprise.
partial credit.
Yeah, I mean 100%. Like, I do blame you for me crying at my desk
You're
multiple times, really, but one of them was because of this movie. So I love After Sun. Yeah, I think it's a beautiful movie, and I don't know, just happy to get it here for my second pick. So, Rebecca, you have 2 in a row. We're gonna do the first one, and then we're gonna do plugs for everybody, and then we'll come back for pick number 3.
Okay, so my pick was going to be Sofia Coppola. That's okay. And then it was going to be Adam McKay, but that's okay. So what I am going to pick is one that's actually near and dear to my heart because it's a very specific type of movie that I have a soft spot for, which is playwrights who take their plays and make them into movies. And so I am going to be taking Martin McDonagh's In Bruges.
Nice.
No.
Sorry.
On the bottom.
I mean, I'm
One-man
not
veto.
sorry.
Okay. I mean, yes, fine, whatever.
Will not allow it. You're regretting that Piranha 2 pick now, Travis.
I will
Good
never regret that pick.
I don't think you should. I think it was a great pick. I think it was a great pick for the chaos.
And Bruges is amazing, by the way.
It's
so
been
good.
amazing. Oh, it blew my mind when I saw it.
Yeah.
Also, like one of those perfect examples of the baby version of what he will continue to do, but change and grow as a filmmaker. So, like
Yeah.
you watch, obviously, Banshees of Inisherin with the same 2 leads.
Yeah.
As like sort of a
Yeah.
more grown up version. Everything about it is more grown up. Martin McDonagh is more grown up. The characters are more grown up. The filmmaking like slickness. I don't know. That guy has not missed for me. I know some people don't like a couple of his movies, but I like watching people talk in Martin McDonagh movies. It's like they
Did
just
you
chew.
know he's dating Phoebe Waller-Bridge?
I had no idea. I don't know anything about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I learned
Breaking
that during my
news.
research. I did an Oscars video and I learned that during my research and I was like, well, that makes sense.
Their conversations the
Must be
banter
insane.
sensational.
Can't even imagine.
It's probably like, hey, you know that Indiana Jones movie wasn't very good, right?
Whoa.
Whoa. All right.
Oh,
Indie Pod.
Indie Pod.
There we go.
Wrap it up.
Indie Pod, wrap it up. No more plugs.
I can talk about Crystal Skull. That's the only one I've seen. It's great. I
That's
love
the
Crystal Skull.
That's the
only
only
hold on.
one you've
No, he's
seen.
so
Are you
good.
doing a
Yeah.
bit or for real?
I'm not doing a bit at all. It's the only
3
one I've
times
seen.
it drops.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
we're doing
Wait,
last
it's
week's
like-
any of
watch
them.
along on
I
our
haven't-
pod.
I
Oh
have
my
not seen
God.
one Indiana
Not having
Jones.
seen
Oh.
any of them, I think, is both
That
more
makes more
reasonable
sense. Yeah.
and more respectable.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that you've only seen Crystal Skull is
And I like
There-
Crystal
Wow.
Skull.
I
We
like
did
it.
it.
Skull. Yeah.
it's fine. It's a fine movie, but in the context of the others, though,
To not have seen Last Crusade, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's wild.
I'll get around to it. There's-
okay, that's
amazing.
fine.
Yeah, sure
It's
I'll
fine.
see it at some point.
Ben, let's pivot
Um,
our pod and make it an indie pod for a few weeks. How about that?
Hey, I'm on board. Let's do it.
Game.
Man.
Go from indie
Um,
movies to indie movies.
Hey,
Ah.
look at that. Look at that.
Oh,
Well, that's a tagline, baby.
Locked
From indie
in.
to indie.
From indie to
Indie
indie.
ba-da-ba-da-ba.
All right, cool. We're at the halfway point. I want to give you guys a chance to plug your pods or whatever you want. Travis, I'm going to throw it to you first.
Oh, first. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go backwards order of the draft.
Me and my buddy Justin have a podcast called Let the Movie Speak, and we can't joke like it. We all do the same thing, and that's okay. Like we love this nerdy thing that we do, so I'm not going to act like. And we do ours from the moon.
But do you?
That would be cool.
We do ours decade by decade. So like we started in the first speaking films decade, which was the 30s, and we move, 30s, 40s, 50s. That's a season a piece, and we do about a dozen movies. That's just like a cross section of movies from that decade. And then we do some, palate cleanser things. So we did a heist series and whatever. So Let the Movie Speak. It's on the things. It's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all those things. And at LTMS Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Check it out.
Awesome. I love it. We'll have all the links for everyone too in the notes. So go follow and do that, all that stuff. Carson,
Yes. Hi.
hello.
I do. Sorry, I'm looking at. Oh yes, I remember. Okay. I have a podcast called Movie Mavens with my friend and former colleague Annie. And we do double features. So we usually pick a movie that's in theaters and then we'll double feature it with just honestly whatever, loosely. We do like genre, director, main actor. I mean, we've done studio. One time we did what is the name of that movie? I'm so sorry. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. And then we double featured it with Kimmy because they both have blue bobs. So just
I love
things
it.
like that.
I love that.
That's
Last week we did Past Lives and Your Name. And we are very we're very female focused, we're very female centered, and we like to platform women in film and women making movies, women being badass in Hollywood and making moves. So if any of that interests you, it's called Movie Mavens, and we're Movie Mavens on social media, but honestly, you could probably just reach out to Annie or I. Yeah.
I love it. I love your pod. Quite
Thank
a bit.
you.
Yeah.
Me too.
Thank you.
Andrew sent this in on the tail end of Travis and you beginning. I don't know which one it's for, but I'll just say both of them are great shows. So, and I mean, everyone's is a great show. So I'm just going to put Andrew's out there for everybody. Jade, you have any plugs?
So I'm the only one that doesn't have a podcast here, which that's fine. I'm going to go just listen to everybody's. But I mean, I actually recently just yesterday deactivated my social medias completely. Just need a break. So you can still find me though on Letterboxd, just at Jade Ruffalo. That's just my full name. I just, that's where I just like to talk movies. I kind of strayed away from talking about them on social media. So just Letterboxd, and that's it. And just all I'll say is just keep going to the movies.
I love it. And honestly, Letterboxd is like the
Incredible.
best social app. So I think it's a great call on your part. Alden.
I, on the other hand, have 2 online.
Kendall Roy style. You don't even know how online I am.
You've lost context.
Context.
Yeah, Succession pod coming soon. Yeah, you can find me doing Octo Radio, Star Wars podcast, and the sub shows therein, doing interviews with different Star Wars creatives, novelists, comic book writers. We did have Ryan Johnson on one time, so if you just want to check out the one episode, that's the one. I also do Casterly Talk, which is our Game of Thrones and other fantasy properties like Rings and Willow and Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, rather, with my friend Ken Knapsack. I will say, in light of strikes and everything, I'm sure it's going to come up toward the end. We'll talk about it, but not going to be covering Ahsoka or Rings of Power Season 2 or anything till a fair deal is in place. Still going to be talking, but just talking, the kind of conversations that we'd be having anyway. And then writing around the internet, wrote for Star Trek last year, working on a couple things for them now, a couple other things. So
cool.
Fun times.
That is awesome. Thanks, man. Klein.
You can find me everywhere, mostly on Twitter. I'm also online at the Kleinfeld. I also write and hang out over at thedirect.com all day, every day, where I am the senior editor over there. And I have 2 podcasts, a Star Wars podcast called Reckless Rebellion. Wherever you're listening to this right now, head on over and look us up. And then not movies, but a different medium that I enjoy. I have a video game podcast called Controller Club. It is me, my friends from the UK, and another one from Australia. We are intercontinental, and we hang out and talk about the latest in that sort of world called Controller Club. So look us up. Come say hello.
When do you guys record? That sounds insane.
Oh, it is. Those time zones are fun. There is a window of 2 hours every afternoon where everyone's awake.
That's amazing.
Love it.
Oh, it's so good. Ethan, you got a pod?
Yeah, I'm around on the podcast. I am a co-host with you, Ben, on 24 Minutes of A24. We talk about the A24 library. Much like Alden kind of stated, our schedule is yet to be determined going forward on what we will be talking about. But it will be A24 centered. And then we also have a Patreon on that podcast called 24 Minutes of Not A24. We just covered the entire Mission Impossible franchise, where we literally look at movies in 24 minutes, which was our original idea for the podcast. And then we were like, this is impossible. And then we're like, let's have hot sauce if we don't make it in 24 minutes. So it's really fun over on Patreon. Now we're doing Disney or films based on Disney theme park rides, which is just incredible. What is out there. Some really great and terrible things. So yeah, it's a blast. Find us 24 Minutes of A24 anywhere that you get your pods, and YouTube as well.
Sweet. I'll listen. Rebecca.
Don't forget to subscribe.
I'm going to listen first. I'm not just going to subscribe.
That's the water.
Okay,
I don't just give away my subscriptions, okay? No. I'm at You Gross Rebecca everywhere. I'm also just chronically online. Of the podcasts that I do, one Geek Show podcast, which is kind of your generic geek content and what's happening in the current pop culture stream. When I'm feeling motivated, I have a YouTube channel called The Critic's Darling. It's my movie YouTube channel that I'm currently in the process of retooling, so keep an eye out for that. And then if you want to listen to me talk about Star Trek, under the Geek Show umbrella, I do a podcast / YouTube video called The Space Show, where I've been watching all of Star Trek, the original series, and talking about it.
Oh, dang. Nice. That's awesome.
Nice. Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just everywhere at Benny Burrito. Obviously, we're here, 3 Films and a Podcast. I'm one of the 3 hosts. But when this comes out, we will have like a little over a month left of this pod. And like I said, we are shifting gears in 2024. We are going to, I guess it's like the first like real announcement, whatever. We've hinted at it forever, but we're going to be known as Unsung Gems. And we're going to talk about movies that people love that they feel don't get enough respect. So we'll have a guest on every week that picks a movie and come on and tell us why they love it. It's part of every time we have a guest on for the first time, we ask them these Clubhouse questions, and one of them is, what's your unsung gem? And that just kind of became like our favorite thing to hear about these movies that people love that like we've never heard of. And so it's like, so we're just kind of pivoting to that. So I'm very excited about it. Our first round actually is all going to be directorial debuts. We have a couple people on here that are going to be participating in that. So super excited, but yeah, I don't know. Stick around. We'll have all the crossover links and stuff, but we've appreciated everyone's support with 3 Films, and hopefully you guys come over with us to Unsung Gems. Should be a good time. Speaking of a good time, let's get to round 3. Rebecca, please don't take my next movie, and take whatever else you want.
Memento. Just kidding. This movie, I'm kind of in the spot where the world is kind of my oyster, and I'm gonna go with this one. A movie that was different enough, culturally different enough, that I found it super fascinating. District 9 by Neil Blomkamp.
Ooh.
Incredible pick.
Yes.
Yeah, that movie
Wow.
I
absolutely
contemplated that.
blew my mind. It
Amazing.
is such a phenomenal movie that challenged, existing ideas and yada yada yada. Just maybe his subsequent movies are not as like good as District 9, but I think he knocked it out of the park with his first one.
Yeah. This is maybe the
Gran
one.
Turismo, couple weeks.
Oh, it's
Oh,
true,
baby.
huh?
It's gonna be the
I actually heard
time.
it's very
Yeah.
good.
Everyone I've talked to says it's good. All right. I
Same.
want it to
I'm
be.
excited for it.
Yeah, I
I'll
think
be
it'll
there.
Fun.
I like going fast. Sure.
Who does it?
I
right?
like David Harbour and going fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now this one doesn't have family, but
Family.
it might.
But it
it
has
might still be
Orlando
good.
Bloom.
Can we
That's
talk about
Yeah.
poor Rome? And Rome has had its fair share of cars driving down steps this year.
Yeah. They're just taking
Quite
a
a few.
beating.
R.I.P.
Quite a few.
Taking a
Yeah,
beating.
absolutely.
Well, you didn't take the movie I was going to pick, and I'm happy about that.
Trying to do you a favor. Yeah.
I'm sweating
And
so bad right
some
now.
might even say that I can feel the love tonight. I'm taking The Lion King
Nice.
with my third
Oh,
pick. I
Good
think
Wow.
one of the best
That's
animated
good.
movies ever. Probably
Yeah.
one of the more important ones for sure.
My first crush was Simba. Yeah.
I mean, Nala, you know what I mean?
I love that.
I don't blame you at all.
I was in the
Uh,
Lions, man.
So yeah, again, I don't know what to say about the Lion King that people don't know about, but it's like the whole Disney Renaissance. I still think it was, again, just one of the more important ones, and
Yeah.
just a super fun one to see. And as someone whose favorite movie is Ferris Bueller's Day Off, it's cool to see Mr. Broderick in that. So yeah, Lion King.
The best version of Hamlet.
Yes.
And Scar is the best Disney villain. I'll say that as well,
Hmm.
in my
Oh,
opinion.
I like that.
I love
Respect
that.
Did he
who's up?
get
Ethan's
the
up.
scar and then change his name?
Oh, or is
It's
that his name all
unclear.
along?
But there is a canon prequel novel that I have not read. But maybe I will, and I'll,
I
I'll
have not
report
read.
back to you.
Next draft, come back and report.
It exists.
Ethan, what you got?
Okay, that brings me to me. I will say, Ben, your pick and Klein, your picks, like when it is right before mine, I've just like never been more nervous in my life, just because like I'm so close to what
scared.
I want.
Yeah.
He's
So
gonna do
close
it.
to the it's like Clooney on the precipice of greatness so many times. So I'm glad this wasn't picked up. This is probably and it actually is the most recent movie to be drafted so far. I'm going with Celine Song's debut in Past Lives.
Nice.
I try to steer away from, recency bias and all of these things. Past Lives is truly special. It spans everything that you could think, and I've seen it twice in theaters. Each time I have just cried an embarrassing amount in such a short amount of time during the final 15 minutes. And there's not really any movie quite like it, especially in terms of a directorial debut. I know, Rebecca, you were saying how much you appreciate playwrights that take things to the screen. This is Celine taking something she wrote to the screen and executing it on a level that, quite frankly, just is not generally seen, at least in modern day movies.
Mhm.
So yeah, Past Lives, my favorite movie of 2023 so far, and my third pick.
Love it.
Well done.
There was a moment there where I think it was Klein and then you, Alden, Klein, and you, and I wanted either After Sun or Past Lives, and I was like, these three assholes might take both
They're
these
gonna take
movies,
it.
so like I don't know what to do if these are taken.
I will say
Um,
that's not the Ethan bullet that I had in mind.
okay.
Oh.
All right, good to know.
I'm so curious to figure out what this is, and just please don't do it until the draft is over, and then just tell me what it was. That'd be
Let me
great.
know.
Sure. Yeah.
Because in that pick, I have cemented my confidence that one movie I really want will be here on the back end, and if it's not, I might never join a podcast again.
He will retire.
I'm
tonight.
done.
I'll never be on three films again. I'll never
Again.
come back. Yeah. Klein, what you got for us for your third pick?
I'm going to take what I consider probably the best science fiction movie of the 21st century, and one of my favorite movies ever made, and it's Alex Garland's directorial debut in Ex Machina.
Yeah.
I just think that
Nice.
this is one of the most tense movie-going experiences you can possibly have. I can remember sitting in my college dorm room, watching it for the first time, alone in the dark, and being terrified. And it's so good. Oscar Isaac in this is an animal. Like he's on another level. I
Very.
love it so much. And it's a very, very good movie. I will stand by my boy Alex Garland with just about everything he's done. So yeah, I think Ex Machina is immaculate.
Wonderful.
You a big Men fan, Klein?
That's the
Oh, we don't talk about men.
Understanding.
Oh my god, we don't talk about men.
Men pod.
he said. We want to
said
go about
that he would
Annihilation.
stand by
We can talk about
I'll
that.
talk about Annihilation all day, but
Yeah.
men does not exist.
Hey, Rory Kinnear in that movie, dynamite stuff, to be honest.
That last 10 minutes exists in my head, unfortunately. That
Yeah.
was, that was
Yeah.
something
Crazy.
else, to say the least. That was intense.
He made choices. That's
very,
for sure.
very memorable. Where are we at here? Alden.
Oh God.
All right, Ethan.
Oh
Buddy,
God.
it's time.
Yes,
For
it's
two
time.
drafts
Pick him
in a
up behind
row.
Yeah.
2 drafts in a row. I will draft Rachel Sennett to my team
How,
and take
how
her
dare
from
you?
Ethan. It is Emma Seligman's debut feature, Shiva Baby.
I knew
Yeah.
you were gonna take this.
Great
Mhm.
movie.
Should be honestly horror thriller as well as drama, as well as black comedy. As like, it's just it is so utterly thrilling to see maximum impact from minimal resources in this way. To just trust your actors. It really is like good theater of just 3 rooms, maybe like 3.5 rooms. You get a bathroom upstairs, and like, and it's just power. Like it's just a slice of life. It's not even a chapter. It's a day. It's an unfortunate day, and I think in a just world, Rachel Sennett would have gotten like awards attention for this performance. I didn't know her
Yeah.
before this, and she absolutely blew me away. If this was the cool Academy, the Academy that gave Marissa Tomei the Oscar,
Yeah.
then maybe we would have seen it. But
Yeah.
Not like a regular Academy. I'm like a cool Academy. Really
That
good.
needs to be their next tagline for 2024
Yeah.
Oscars. I'm not like
for the new
Academy.
the David Zaslav class, all the people I just got in.
God, I take it back. Take it
Oh,
back.
man.
Ridiculous.
Jade, what you got for your third pick?
So Ben, I'm gonna follow in your footsteps and pick an animated stop motion. I'm gonna go with The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Ooh,
Henry
yeah.
Selick.
Ooh.
Um, that and Coraline have to be 2 of my favorite, probably stop motion movies of all time. I just rewatched Nightmare Before Christmas just because me and my boyfriend were singing it in the car. Like we
Nice.
just put on the soundtrack.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it's creepy. It is kind of scary, and it celebrates 2 holidays. And so, is it a Christmas movie or is it a Halloween movie?
I mean,
It's whatever your heart desires.
Yeah,
Danny Elfman is on another just plain irresistible.
he really is.
Yeah.
Man,
The
Oh,
man's
yeah.
jacked. Have you
Singing
seen
Jack
it?
Skellington parts, by the way. Danny Elfman sings for Jack
Yes.
Skellington.
So
So
Right.
good.
He's
Yeah.
the
so good. So
Yeah.
that's gonna be my pick.
I love it.
It's an amazing movie.
One of our draft staples, Beth Ann, couldn't be here tonight, but she has a pod called Cinematic Symphony, and I'm actually covering Danny Elfman for that. So I've been listening to
I
all
love
of his
that.
soundtracks, and it's just like Nightmare Before it's so good. You know, like he's got so
Yeah.
many great soundtracks, but that one, it's like, oh, I didn't realize I remembered this. You know, just got like there's somewhere
Mhm.
like deep inside. So that's a wonderful selection. I like that a lot. Carson, we're
Yes.
back. We made it.
Thank you. Finally. I realize that maybe I might have a theme here. And my third pick, I'm gonna go with Catherine Hardwicke's debut, 13.
Oh yeah.
That one was
Um,
one of my short list.
Nice. It's an incredible movie. She went on to do Twilight and Lords of Dogtown, which is the best soundtrack ever made. Sorry, Sofia Coppola. But 13 is It is a look at what it's like to be a very lost and confused 13-year-old girl, told in a way that I don't think will ever be replicated. She co-wrote it with Nikki Reed, who was a teenager at the time. And it just is it you got the guys on this pod. I don't know that it would hit as hard as it would hit for women watching the movie, but it is incredibly moving and just like, yeah, it's a gut punch. I can't recommend this movie enough. And yeah, Catherine Hardwicke is a badass.
Nice.
I was 13 years old watching that movie with my mom. Roof stoof, but
Yeah.
such a
Wow.
good movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't seeing it with your mother must have been like a
Ah,
constantly having to
she-
reassure her.
She
while
was
watching
horrified.
We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
I-
Like, there were moments I
that-
had to be like, what is happening? And she's like, don't even worry about it.
That film is in a special category of movie in my like childhood mind, which was my sister's DVDs. Like a stack of movies that my sister cared about. It was like Dirty Dancing, 13, a couple other things. I think some Sex and the City HBO DVDs were in there. And I saw parts of it too young and was so confused. I haven't revisited it as an adult, but I remember it being very talked about.
I'm actually seeing it at the end of this month. Catherine Hardwicke and Nikki Reed are presenting it, and they're doing a
Oh, wow.
show
Oh, cool.
for the 20th anniversary, and it's not sold out yet, which is like beyond it. And that just goes to show like the audience is very obviously not film bro, and that they're not devouring the tickets, which is just absolutely insane to me. But yeah, I'm seeing it in a theater.
That's so
That'll be
cool.
interesting.
Yeah,
I love
That's
it.
awesome. I hope you get to talk to them.
me
Yeah, that's
too.
cool.
Be awesome. If you want to hear more about 13, shameless plug once again. Carson is going to be one of our first guests for the new pod, and we're going to be talking about that movie, which I'm super excited about. I had never even heard of it, so I'm
It's
excited
on my
for us
watch
to cover
list
it.
now.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
that's awesome. Travis, you still here? You're still
I
here.
am here.
You're here.
I am calculating carefully.
We made it around.
I have a weird position of being the turnaround thing again, right?
Yeah. You get
Yep.
your last two picks. Yeah.
That's honestly harder. Okay. Okay, so I could go conventional and bananas again. I could pick a couple ones that I feel like are I can't believe they're still around, honestly.
Yeah.
Don't do that. That's
Well,
you wouldn't want to do that, Travis.
No, get wild.
You
I'm trying
wouldn't
to
steal a DVD.
yeah. And in the spirit of our pod, I'm also trying to represent as many different decades as I can. So I'm trying to be a little
Like
strategic. So I got an 80s, I got a 40s. Okay, this is what we're gonna do here. 1968, a movie was made by a man, and this man's name was George A. Romero. Night of the
Okay.
Living Dead.
Yes.
Nice.
Man.
Oh my
Great
god.
pick.
Nice.
That is
Wow.
great.
Nice.
Again, it's a good movie, guys.
It is. Yeah.
That's this
Same
whole
on me.
podcast.
Yeah.
Like, it was a good movie.
Yeah, Maximal, Alden said it nicely earlier, but like did a lot with a little.
Yeah.
So many
Mhm.
innovative like things, and you can't really credit that many single movies with basically creating a genre of movies, and that's definitely one of those. And it holds up so well. I don't know if you've rewatched it recently, but like I've sort of made it an annual October watch because it is legit spooky, like tense. And the ending, if you don't know, I'm literally not going to spoil the ending, even though it's super old. But if you don't know the ending, it's worth your time. Such
Sweet.
a wallop of an ending.
Gotta watch it.
And
Also, one of the most quotable lines ever. They're coming to get you,
Oh, yeah.
Barbara.
Yeah.
I
So
love that
good.
line.
It's one of those
Yeah.
things that like lives in your osmosis mind before you
Yes.
even know, like even when you're a
Yeah.
kid.
yeah, and like again, like you watch it and a performance like that, like the acting is like fine, like the acting is good enough, and the movie is amazing, and somehow that's like that's got to be the director's got to be heavy lifting there. So
Yeah.
okay, that's pick number one. I'm 3.
Now do a silly one.
Okay.
There's more horror sequels out
Silly
there.
one.
Do a flip.
Piranha 3. No, someone's directorial debut. I don't know.
I think Saw
okay.
5 is out there for the taking if you want that one.
Yeah.
Take it.
It's bold.
It's not the worst Saw. Okay. Anyway. Okay, I'm gonna go with for my final. This is hard.
Can we add a fifth? Can we add a fifth pick?
Let's just keep going until
Yeah, let's just go
like
until we
covered
run
it
out.
all.
Travis, say Skinamarink. Say Skinamarink.
Oh my god.
I would divide the pod into perfect.
Ooh.
coming to VHS.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Great. Super duper.
And like 3 different colors, Rebecca.
Great.
Collect them all.
Whatever.
Okay. Well, I feel like the one genre that maybe hasn't been represented quite enough is sci-fi, and so I'm gonna go sci-fi for my last pick. This is a little left field compared to some of the other options, but 2009's Duncan Jones joint Moon.
Yeah.
Oh,
What a
Very good.
I didn't realize that was his
Sorry,
debut.
Freaking Rockwell.
Yeah.
He is the man. I don't know why I like movies where one person plays multiple people so much. I talked about adaptation earlier, but like,
Yeah.
he plays a few Sam Rockwells in this. It's awesome. It's so good. It's Sam
Fantastic
Rockwell going
film.
crazy on the like in space. What could
Yeah.
be better?
Such a good movie.
Sick.
Okay, awesome. So Travis ends up with Citizen Kane, Piranha 2, The Spawning,
Obviously.
obviously.
Most insane double.
I think I got that
ever.
order right. I don't know. You may have taken Piranha 2 first. And then Night of the Living Dead and Moon. So 4 awesome films.
A demented list, actually, now that I'm looking at it. So
What a
I
just
love
a
it.
phenomenal,
perfect.
phenomenal marathon.
Yeah, right? Watch all 4 of these.
start or end with Citizen Kane though. Like what do you
Yeah.
How do
You do it in that
navigate?
order. You
Just
eat your
like
dinner,
that.
then you have your dessert with piranha, and then you go.
yeah, I like that.
Carson, we're back to you.
Okay, I am going to continue my theme of movies about teenage girls, but I'm going to lighten it up a little bit and go with Bring It On, which is
Oh,
Peyton
I have
Reed's
that on my
movie.
list.
Oh yeah.
He went on to make like all 5 or 10 Ant-Mans. I don't know how many Ant-Mans there are, but he's done a lot of those. But yeah, that was like pivotal in when I like in my adolescence. I wore that VHS out.
Yeah.
I recently saw it on 35 millimeter with a friend of mine who also I live in LA.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Bring it on
Yeah.
35 millimeters.
Yeah.
Where such
No.
things are possible.
Actually,
I'm just lucky to get movies.
I saw it at what's that guy's name? Quentin Tarantino's theater.
Yeah.
He only shows on
cool.
35
Oh,
millimeter.
cool.
But I went and saw it with a friend of mine who also watched it growing up, and it was incredibly pivotal for her as well. And it was fun. Like it was a great experience. It holds up really well. And oh god, and Kirsten Dunst is in 2 of my movies here, but you
Oh, yeah.
know
Oh,
she
yeah.
deserves it. She deserves
Never
all
enough.
of the accolades.
Mhm.
She
Yeah.
is amazing. She's incredible. I love Bring It On. Okay, there it is.
And Eliza,
I love it.
Love it.
Eliza in
Awesome
that movie
finale.
is so
Yes.
good.
So
Yeah.
good.
She's wonderful in that.
Peyton Reed underrated.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize he directed, or I didn't remember that he did. That's awesome. Virgin Suicides, The Witch, 13, and Bring It On.
That feels
What a
right in my
marathon.
soul.
Yeah.
That is like teenage girl heaven.
Yeah, if this was like a blind pick, like match the drafter to these movies. Like, yeah, it's Carson. That's like it's perfect. I think it's so good. Jade, how you rounding out your team?
So for me, it wouldn't be my list if I didn't add a true horror movie. So I'm gonna go with Paranormal Activity by Oren Peli.
That movie messed me up so bad.
Yeah, I feel like it's become a joke now with the last movies. I
Yeah.
just watched Next of Kin, and it was just I don't even have words for it. But if you go to 1 through 3, I even like 4 and 5. They're not completely terrible. They're a little bit funnier, but 1 through 3 I think are actually really good movies.
Cosign.
I think their found footage is always something that will scare the shit out of me. And I think on top of Blair Witch, Paranormal Activity truly just was the roots of found footage for horror. So I'm sticking by it.
Nice.
That movie is the reason to this day I cannot go to sleep without listening to a podcast or a TV show.
Same.
Wow.
Wow.
You
And
guys,
it's honestly why I'll never own a Ring camera, because I'm too scared to look at any sort of like CCTV footage.
Never
So-
watch
Like, I'd rather they just take me.
Yeah.
Have to see.
whatever I
Surprise
don't
me.
see,
Yeah.
that's between them. That's between the
Exactly.
beast and God.
Yeah.
It's bliss sometimes. So.
Oh,
I love that.
I mean, this grouping here: Nightcrawler, Anchorman, Nightmare Before Christmas, and Paranormal Activity. Like, this is fantastic.
You have
What
a
a
nice
selection.
time in the middle.
Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little fun. Yeah.
It mellows out, and then
This
boom.
terrifying sandwich.
Yeah. Exactly.
I love that. Actually, I'm gonna start using that.
Alden, we're up to you.
I hate this. I hate it. I'm gonna have so many honorable mentions, you guys.
I'm literally looking at my
Say
list of like, which
Skinamarink.
honorable mentions.
I cannot
Say
wait to
Skinamarink.
blurt about.
Skinamarink.
You know, let me jot Skinamarink on the honorable mentions.
Just so someone can do the voice, please.
At any given moment in the past 5 minutes, it could have been so many. But I am going to choose my gut right now, my heart. I love musicals. It is
boy.
it is a shock that it was this man's first film. Yes, I'm gonna do it. It's Tick Tick Boom, Lin-Manuel Miranda's
Love that
feature
movie.
directorial debut. There was a lot of talk leading up to it. How is being a composer and lyricist and theater actor is a very different skill set. I thought maybe it would be serviceable and that he would nail the music and that the rest of the film would be pretty standard. But dude had style. Dude made choices. He was inventive with the camera. He was inventive with transitions. He was inventive with how we perceived Jonathan Larson's creativity. And I think it's a killer soundtrack, and Andrew Garfield just left it all out there. Fantastic film. And it has Bradley Whitford playing Sondheim.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Mhm.
So that's my final choice.
Sweet.
I love that.
It's a great pick.
Get Out, Mission Impossible 3, which I was sad to see go, but I'm glad you got it. Shiva Baby and Tick Tick Boom.
I'm going to
It's
Alden's
Alden's
house. Like,
cast.
this is
Yeah.
this is-
Yeah.
this stuff's
We got a ripping time.
Yeah,
We're gonna have fun.
we're gonna have a
we're
good
gonna
time
live.
for sure.
popcorn.
We're gonna sing. We're gonna cringe.
Yeah.
These
We're
are all my
gonna
favorite things.
Singing and cringing. Klein, what are you taking for your
There's
last
so
pick?
many directions I can go. I'm utterly shocked when I was putting this list together. I'm like, oh my god, what am I going to do? I'm going to get to the end and all this stuff. But there's so much here.
Yeah.
Oh, I could say Hot Rod, but I'm not going to say Hot Rod. You know what? Just because her last film made me really upset, and after her first movie, I got so excited. I'm going to do it. I'm going to say
Yes.
Booksmart, Olivia
Yes.
Wilde. Probably one of my
Nice.
favorite movies the last
Yes.
5 years.
Yes.
Nice.
It
Mhm.
makes you laugh incredibly hard. It makes you cry, and then you can't tell which tears are from happiness and which tears are from just like opening your soul up to this movie.
great
I love it
yes.
so much.
Mhm.
Caitlin Devers, I now have a season's pass. Like anything she does, I will be there. I don't care. Like she just so much fun in that movie. And yeah, that's where I'm going. I'm gonna say Booksmart.
Love it. I thought that's what
Awesome.
Carson was gonna say before Bring It On, with the way you
Yeah.
led into Bring It On. God, Booksmart's good.
So
And it's
good.
just a shame. I wanted so many good things, and then we got what we got with Don't Worry,
Yeah.
Darling. But what have
Yeah.
you? It's
The movie
maybe
that shall not
back
be
there one
named.
day.
I
Yeah.
forgot she directed that. Oh.
I
I
could
was
never
so
forget
excited.
because I followed everything behind the scenes so closely. I will never.
So did he spit or no? What
Yeah,
did
Someone
Donna?
spit on someone and the
decide?
movie wasn't good.
Big
Yeah.
gate.
You were telling me
Big gate.
leading that film
Big gate.
that Olivia Wilde was going to come off of Booksmart and do a movie with Florence Pugh in it. I was there. I was there from day negative
Florence
300. Like
Pugh,
I was
Chris
ready.
Pine. Yes.
The style
Pine.
itself, like I
Man.
was sold on
Oh.
the style itself.
Yeah.
Ah!
It was, a
And I think the
disappointing.
trailer is magnificent.
Mhm.
I think
agree.
it's a fantastic trailer.
The-
I
It's
thought
I will
she
say-
was gonna have her get out moment.
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
say
I thought-
the twist in that movie almost redeemed every terrible thing before it, because I did not see that coming in a million bajillion years, but not enough.
I did like Chris Pine's performance. I thought he was really good.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But he's
it's
always
definitely like
It's always
a all the parts are good, but it's the sum.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Mhm.
elements are great. It's a weird
Things
thing.
were good.
Yeah. Things were good.
Booksmart. Good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lady
Billy
Bird,
Lord. Can I just say Billy Lord and
Oh.
Booksmart
Yeah.
deserves
Yes.
a mention.
Oh, awesome.
She's fantastic in that movie. She's Oh, Billy Lord. Lady Bird, Shawshank Redemption, Ex Machina, and Booksmart for Klein.
Awesome.
Wow,
It's a good
solid.
list.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
The list, all
Hang
the
up.
lists so far are stacked.
Pretty good.
Is that 3 A24s? No. 2? I don't know.
No,
I don't
Booksmart
know
is
what it
not.
is. That's right. Ethan,
Wow. Okay, we're back.
we're back.
I
We're
feel
so back.
we're so back, baby. We're so back, baby. Yeah, God, I feel really good about this. The one that I wanted is still on the board, so we'll be taking it. If I can't have Michael Mann Heat, I'm going to take Michael Mann's Thief. Just a
Sick.
sliver of a notch below Heat. James Caan is unfucking believable in this movie. The cityscapes, the neo-noir, like neon, like everything about this is so Michael Mann, and it's literally the first thing he did, which is unbelievable. Has just some of the most incredible, like, I guess, like thriller sequences and visual style of anything out there. And the diner scene is just like hypnotizing in this
So
movie.
good.
There's just so many good things to say about this. And I'm just fucking amped. It's on my draft team. So I feel good about this.
That's a good pick.
Ethan, how excited are you for Heat 2? Are you
Dude,
reading everything? Are you
Heat fucking 2 is going down. I mean, I'm so jacked for Ferrari, and that's like we don't know when we're getting Heat 2. Ferrari's supposedly coming out this year. Like we're so back, baby. Like Michael Mann is back making movies.
We're
Like
back.
I feel so
Movies.
good about it. I feel so good about
Popcorn.
movies.
Love
God,
my popcorn.
I hope I can see it in a theater. I hope they don't shutter before then. But God, I mean, like, yeah, I'm jazzed, dude. I'm jacked to the tits.
Jack to the tits.
I wasn't
put
ready.
it on the box?
That's what we needed.
Oof.
12 Angry Men, Whiplash, Past Lives, and Thief.
Awesome.
First time I've ever been this happy in a draft, and it will never happen again. I can guarantee it.
That's really good. I like it a lot. I don't like having to pick my last movie. I want
Hot
a
Rod's
comedy
still on the
so
board.
bad. It is. It is on the board.
So many things on the board.
Say Babadook.
Skinamarink.
Oh, vomit.
Okay.
You
I
could
wanna,
pick Grease. Grease is on the board.
You know what? Along
One of
those
your faves,
lines,
right?
it is. I love Grease. It's the best.
Only once.
Yeah. I think
Wow.
it's
So painful coming out of your
Huh?
body.
I've never seen it, and I never hope to. So okay,
Wow.
Fucking
oh man,
strays.
I know I'm really just like dragging ass here. Listen, I'm
See
taking
ya.
this movie because of the soundtrack. The movie itself is fine, but I think it's the best soundtrack to ever exist. I'm going with Purple Rain. I'm taking that.
That's
Whoa.
very good.
Wow.
That's very
Nice.
good.
It's
And that
a
is
fun
that's
movie.
True.
It's like it's campy, like it's fun watching Prince try to act. Like we just watched it the other night. Like I genuinely love this movie, but it's also just like it's just listening to the album, over an hour and a half, and it's so
Yeah.
good. So yeah, I don't know. It's not Citizen Kane, that's for sure, but it is Purple Rain. So that's what I'm gonna go with. We're gonna do a silly one here at the end. We're gonna go with Purple Rain. So Reservoir
Respect.
Dogs, After Sun, The Lion King, and Purple Rain for me.
You got two of the
What
best
a
soundtracks
wild
Yeah,
ever.
for
time.
musical,
Yeah,
yeah.
I did.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
And
Oh,
look,
John
Might
and
sweep.
Prince.
Yeah.
Citizen Kane is great, but it doesn't have "Baby I'm a Star" in it.
It's true. Very true.
How good can it be?
Shiva
darling
Baby's great,
Nikki.
but it doesn't have fish that eat people. So
That's also true.
That's
Also
true.
true.
One up indeed.
All right, Rebecca, close us out. What's our last pick?
Okay. We're gonna do honorable mentions after. Is
Sure.
that-
Yeah, let's do
Okay.
it.
So I used to play roller derby, and my derby name was regrettably Joss Whelan.
Okay.
Not regrettably.
It was an era.
It was
Own
an
it.
era.
Respect. Yeah.
It was specifically an era. But the movie I'm going to pick, Whip It by Drew Barrymore,
Nice.
is one of. It's a movie that has a very, very, very special place in my heart. And I watched it again recently. And it was very interesting to watch it because it's about a very specific branch of femininity. But now watching it through the eyes of someone who's a trans man really gave the movie some extra layers. But I don't know. I fucking love this movie. Whip it, baby.
Yeah. So good. Elliot
yeah.
Page is wonderful in it.
Yeah.
I love Kristen Wiig. I think she's wonderful as well. This is a really fun movie.
And
That might
she nailed the dynamics so well because watching them, I'm like, I know this one, I know this girl, and I know this girl. Like it was very familiar and so fun to watch.
And any
That might
movie
be
with
the
Zoe
last
Bell,
movie
I'm
I
here
ever
for.
rented from Blockbuster.
Oh, really?
I think so. Yeah.
Ooh.
It's a fun fact.
I can see the poster in my head, like on the wall of the
Awesome.
store.
I love that. And Daniel Stern
Incredible.
as a dad. That's always it was wanting.
Love Drew Barrymore getting some love.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we'll talk about her in a little bit. I know
I
will,
haven't-
anyways.
I haven't seen that movie, but I will just say any time that Jimmy Fallon is listed as Hot Tub Johnny Rocket, I'm pretty much sold. So that's
Good to go, yeah.
When I watched it a couple weeks ago, I definitely forgot he was in it, but it's the most likable I think Jimmy Fallon has ever been.
oh
Agreed.
good, excellent.
Yeah. agreed.
Yeah.
Low bar.
Incredibly
super
It's a
low
very
bar.
low bar. Yeah.
Incredibly low bar,
Yeah.
but like
Very, very punchable face.
he plays very off character than we're used to, and like he's not in it a whole lot,
What?
but it's
Is
enough to
funny
make
in
me
it,
go, oh.
or yeah.
Yeah, because he's the announcer, and he kind of just lets it rip,
Does he just like hang out in a hot tub? Is that why his name is like Hot Tub Johnny Rocket?
You will have to watch to find out.
You should just watch it right now. Put it on.
Let's go.
Let's
Live
do
pod.
it. Live. Yeah.
Fire it up.
Let's watch
stream it.
along.
Because
All
you've
right,
also got Aaliyah Shawkat's in it too, and
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
is incredible in it.
She's so good. Yeah.
Love that.
I recommend it. Hereditary, In Bruges, District 9, and Whip It for Rebecca.
Damn.
All great selections by everyone. Yeah. I mean, we're at an hour and a half. If any of you need to go, feel free. I think maybe we could talk about some honorable mentions if anyone wants to stick around. I think there's plenty that we could talk
Oh, I'm
about.
sticking, baby.
I have to list them. I'll explode if some of these aren't said.
I'm
Okay.
just
Say
gonna
something.
explode if I don't
I
list my
agree.
honorable mentions.
If I don't get to do this, I might die.
I might die.
Yeah.
I can
Pod,
finally
coming
say
soon.
Stop, I'm doing
Skinnamarink.
something. I'm doing something. Please. Why has Skinnamarink been mentioned so many times?
Carson's doing some sort of subliminal marketing for
Yeah.
Skinnamarink.
Bill and
He's in
I
the
are
pocket
tight.
of Big
Okay.
Skinnamarink.
Oh,
Oh my
man.
god.
Yeah, I mean, let's go through some. I mean, maybe like 5-ish. I don't know. I feel like we could each list like 20, but maybe just like
Yeah.
pick a handful that you wish you had taken. Whoever wants to go first, go first.
I'll go first. Just,
Yes.
So Sam Raimi, The Evil Dead.
Yep. Yep.
Baz
Yep.
Luhrmann,
Got it.
Strictly Ballroom.
Ooh.
And then Tim Burton, Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah.
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 Nice.
Wow.
That's good.
I
I
had
had some. Oh, go for it.
I had a couple right up really high that didn't go. Toy Story was my number 5. That's what I was
Yum.
debating between
Mm.
Booksmart and
Nice.
John Lasseter, and then Nancy Meyer's Parent Trap. Like,
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes. I had that. Yep.
yeah,
That would have been so good.
Such a good film.
I was fighting over those comedies at the end. The ones I was kind of going between was This Is Spinal Tap,
Mm.
Dumb and
Mhm.
Dumber, and Shaun of the Dead, I think, is another good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those were
Mhm.
kind of, but I had to follow my heart with Prince, so that's what I went with.
Bless you. Bless you for that.
Yeah.
That's
I
what he would've
realize that
wanted.
my list here is like just all kind of really fucked up movies, with the exception of Bring It On.
Yeah.
But my short list was the Babadook, which it's an incredible feat. I cannot
So
believe
good.
Jennifer
Mhm.
Kent. That was her first movie.
So good.
Monster, which
I had that on my
Oh,
list
yeah.
too.
Uma
Yeah.
Thurman
Yeah.
one
I
had that too.
with Patty Jenkins.
Mhm.
And then I mentioned this guy earlier. I might ride for S. Craig Zoller. I really like. I don't like saying that out loud, but I kind of do. His debut was Bone Tomahawk, and
Oh.
that movie
Wow.
fucking
Yeah.
rips. If you haven't seen that, please put it on your short list. It is the most insane mind trip, and also it's terrifying. And Kurt Russell looks awesome in Wranglers. So,
Mm.
Nice.
I love that.
and of course, Skinamarink.
Of course. Yeah.
Of course.
Ethan, it looks like Matt wanted you to take Cranks. I don't know if that's a debut or not, but I think Christmas
Bro,
the Cranks.
wow!
For sure.
If it was a debut, I'd totally. Oh shucks.
Do you have any honorable mentions?
Do I? Yeah, I'd actually prefer to go last. I'm gonna clean up house here after everybody goes.
Sure.
Like a
Jesus
billion I
Christ.
want to run through.
He's
I'm
got
gonna-
8
I'm gonna-
pages
well,
he wants
I'm
to
gonna-
run through.
I'm about to rattle. I
Do
can't
it.
expound upon any of them because I need to rattle
Okay.
through them.
Rattle.
All right.
Go for it.
George Lucas, THX 1138.
Yep.
Brad Bird, The Iron Giant. Bradley
Yeah.
Cooper,
Yep.
Star is Born. You
Yep.
got Kevin Smith, Clerks. Robert
Right.
Rodriguez, El Mariachi. Bo Burnham, 8th Grade. I'm surprised that didn't.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say that.
It was
yep.
on there.
Mhm.
Pete Docter, Monsters Inc. Dan Trachtenberg, 10 Cloverfield Lane. Spike Lee, She's Gotta Have It. Ryan Johnson, Brick.
Yes.
Andrew Stanton, Finding Nemo. James Gunn, Slither. Kenneth Branagh, Henry V. And
Mhm.
Leonard Nimoy, Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock.
Ooh,
Nice.
Wow, incredible.
Nice.
that's solid.
I'm kind of surprised nobody said Wes Anderson yet.
Yeah, I
It's
think
not
all of
that
them
great.
there, but-
It's not good.
Yeah.
I
Although
forgot
I-
about him.
fine.
Whoa, hot take.
But I liked
Okay,
him.
wow.
But I forgot about him.
What about-
Jade. Oh,
Gone Baby Gone. No one said Gone
I
Baby
was
I
Gone.
know.
just
Said
about
Affleck,
to
yeah.
say that. Yep.
Yeah.
That one was killing me.
I just had watched Goodwill Hunting actually for the first time. I feel horrible
Oh, nice.
admitting
Oh,
that.
it's
Hell yeah.
amazing.
But Ben Affleck and Matt Damon's writing is insane, and I will support Ben Affleck as a director. I don't care what anyone says. I think he has some great movies. Along with that, I'm surprised no one said mid '90s. Jonah Hill,
yeah.
awesome.
Thought about
A24. I also have Raw by Julia Ducournau. I think that's how you
Ooh,
say
Ducournau, yeah.
it. Ducournau. I had
Followed that
Cabin
up
in
with
the Woods.
Titan, right? Unbelievable
Yes.
double feature.
Double feature just to absolutely mess with your head and your stomach. Cabin in the Woods by Drew Goddard, really underrated
Yeah.
horror
Oh, yeah,
movie.
yeah,
I actually
yeah.
just got it tattooed on my arm.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
Yeah.
And then last one I have is Perfect Blue by Satoshi Kon. I just watched it.
Nice.
It's an animated movie, and it is fucked up. If you want to add that to the movie, the fucked up list, add that. It's
I like it.
amazing.
Cool. Ethan, I think the floor
Okay.
is yours now.
We're gonna do this. Okay, great. I was potentially going to vie for Singing in the Rain because it's technically credited as Stanley Donen and Gene Kelly, which would be their first dual production. But
Mhm.
I already tested the limits on Whiplash, so I let it slide. But I just, we're gonna put that out there. The Maltese Falcon, John Huston, Alden
Ooh.
mentioned Starsborn, Eraserhead, Being John Malkovich by Spike
Mhm.
Jonze, The 400 Blows, Francois Truffaut. Sex Lies and Videotapes, Steven Soderbergh, Reality Bites, Ben Stiller, Kicking and Screaming, Noah Baumbach, Synecdoche, New York, Charlie Kaufman. Ben, I'm surprised you didn't take Michael Clayton. That's Tony Gilroy's first movie that he directed,
Dude, if we went 6 rounds,
which is
it could
crazy.
happen.
The Donnie Darko, Swiss Army Man, Grease, I mentioned,
Oh,
Speed,
yeah.
Dumb and Dumber, Con Air, Napoleon Dynamite, Little Miss Sunshine, Oscar-winning Little Miss Sunshine, John Wick,
Oh,
John
man.
Wick, Chad Stahelski, The 40-Year-Old Virgin by Judd Apatow, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Gattaca,
Yes.
and of course American Beauty. That's
So
kind of
good.
given as well. But
I love
good.
Gattaca.
yeah,
Mhm.
I had a very deep list that I was willing to take a lot of
Oh,
things.
man. Me too. I'm so upset now.
I'm
Well,
really surprised that Eraserhead didn't make it on anyone's list.
Yeah.
I probably ruined
It was
that by
there.
mentioning the Elephant Man at the beginning. Everyone got scared of it.
I just
no
yeah.
Eraserhead. Yeah.
Right away.
No, and I think has anybody said Blood Simple yet? I don't know if anybody
No,
rattled that off.
Cohen.
Yeah,
No.
Blood
No.
Simple. Yeah.
No one said
That's the
Boys in
last
the Hood.
one.
No mention of.
I also
Boys in the
thought
Hood.
about
Boys in the Hood.
Karen Kusama's girl fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There's so many good ones. Boys in the Hood.
Slacker. Did anyone say Slacker?
No, yeah.
That's
Last one that I just want to mention came out a few weeks ago. Insidious: The Red Door. Patrick Wilson's debut.
I know.
Oh, wow.
Is that any good?
I personally really liked it a lot. I think though it would have benefited more if the third and fourth Insidious movies had never been created.
Oh,
So because this perfectly rounds out the 1 and 2.
Because it's like a legacy sequel to the first
and second one. So I think it's really good. I like that Lee Winnell and James Wan kind of helped Patrick Wilson along with that. So I am a full supporter of it.
Cool.
Patrick Wilson is also in Bone Tomahawk, and he looks awesome if you like Patrick Wilson.
Patrick Wilson's one of those guys, like, why do I like him? I don't know.
Right. He shows up. He shows up in all these movies, and I'm like, I get it. This is your thing, but why?
But I like him, and I can't quantify what it is.
He's hot. It's because he's hot.
He's hunky. He's hunky. I'll give you that. Yeah.
I like him a lot. He's one of the best parts of Zack Snyder's Watchmen.
Oh yeah, he's awesome in that. He's so good. The last one I want to shout out is for Matt. He couldn't be here, but I know his first pick would have been Tom Hanks's That Thing You Do.
There you go.
I have that on my list.
It's a really good movie. Yeah.
Glad we saved it for him.
It's just for Matt. I had to shout that out. So everyone, thank you so much for being here. This was a ton of fun. We'll see how the matchups go, where everything falls, and see who's going to be the last champion of the 3 films movie draft. So
it's going to be me, baby.
It's going to be Ethan.
Someone get a hold of me and let me know, because I'm not on social media right now.
Yeah, he'll let you know.
Just tell me that I won, and then it's fine.
JD won. Congrats. We already ran it.
No way to prove it. No way to prove it.
Yeah, exactly.
But thanks again for being here, guys. And thanks everyone for watching. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you.